Cool, guys. Well, like I said, this is about your guys' journey in music and how you got to where you are now. Are you all three of you from Truckee originally, or did you move to Truckee? Like, where were you guys originally from?
I think we all came here just as ski bums.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Jeremy and I are both from Northern California, and Matt is from Massachusetts, and then our drummer is from Florida.
Oh, cool. What part of Northern California?
I'm from the Santa Cruz Mountains,
Okay.
and Jeremy.
Yeah, I grew up in Marin County, just north
of San
North
Francisco.
Bay.
Right on. Very cool. And Matt, you said Massachusetts.
Yeah, Western Massachusetts, near the bustling city of Springfield.
Oh, right on. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get into music, Matt?
Me? Oh, I got into music young as a kid. I was doing piano lessons since I was 6. And then I joined my first band in 6th grade, trying to play piano or keys and sing, and quickly learned I couldn't sing at all. And keys weren't really helpful. My guitar player said, "Hey, man, we need a bass player," because we had a guitar player, drums, and a keyboard player, which was me. And he said, no, man, you should play bass. So that was, I think, 6th, 7th grade, picked up bass, and then played in bands all, throughout high school, into college, played a bunch professionally in college, and then didn't play for a lot of time, and it was just sporadic. And then Johnson Park, sort of moved around a bunch and had some different things here and there. And then when I was here in Truckee, met up with Eric actually through kids, which is crazy enough, right? You meet people now through your kids,
Sure,
which is
right?
Weird, which is weird, right? Yeah, and it's been great. So been psyched to be back, really playing a bunch and writing music.
Very cool. So the band had already kind of formed prior to you joining, or you guys all started a band after you moved here, or moved to Truckee?
Eric, you should probably give the history of the band here.
Eric.
All right. Well, we're kind of a musical collective of sorts.
Okay.
A lot of the songs we play are ones I've written over a long period of time, and have played with other incarnations of the Johnson Party from back when we were in Atlanta. But and then when we relocated here just to be in a ski town and live life in the mountains, I was fortunate enough to meet up with Matt and Jeremy, who are both just insane musicians and killer skiers. They're both outdoor conservationists.
Oh, cool.
For living. Their day jobs are helping to save our planet, which so we all kind of gelled on that, and I introduced them to some of these songs. Then we've written a bunch of new songs since then, and that's kind of how we all met and have continued to play.
Right on. You said you formed the band in Atlanta. Were you in Atlanta for a bit?
Yeah, I lived there for 14 years, which was
Wow.
an interesting, really cool experience as a Westerner. I didn't meet many Westerners who moved to the Southeast. But it was awesome, and it feels really good to be back in the mountains, and I think this is where my heart is. But
Sure.
America's crazy. It's got all this amazing, like, different countries almost. It's like
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
France and Spain or something.
Right on. Well, how did you get into music?
I grew up on way up on this dirt road up in the mountains. We didn't have much TV, and my dad had an awesome record collection. I had 2 older brothers who also had killer record collections, and I would just played those all the time. And I think if you're there's some people who are just like have to have music as an integral part of their lives, and obviously if you're a musician, that's someone you are, I think, in your soul. And so, I mean, I just tapped into all this crazy record collections and started listening to that, and then got deeply into, especially as a kid, rock and reggae. And where we grew up, there's I like to say there's a mix of hippies and hicks, and so my older brother says we're hickeys.
I like that.
that's the kind of music I think that comes out of my songwriting is hickey music.
Right on. And did you go to Atlanta to pursue music, or you just happened to head
Oh no,
unrelated?
a girl.
Oh, right on.
Pretty girls in Atlanta.
Very cool. And what about you, Jeremy? Tell me about how'd you get into music?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of similar, I think, to what Eric said in terms of just, growing up in a household where especially my dad was just, love music. I just grew up every night listening to different records, lots of different genres of music, jazz. He was really, really into Latin music. So I got into, real kind of rhythmic bass, but then Paul Simon and a lot of kind of, the traditional folk music from our parents' era. And then I happened to go to this high school in Marin that was a pretty well-known kind of arts school. And as part of being, freshman year, you had to sign up to take some art discipline and see it through for the 4 years you're in high school.
Oh, wow.
And they just had this killer music program, and I signed up to play guitar. And it was really the first time I held a guitar in my hands, but it just completely took off and just felt natural. And happened to grow up in this whole community and at the high school I went to, where we were just playing music all the time. So, and then my younger brother started playing drums. We had all our friends played some instrument, and we just garage band our way all the way through high school. Went to college out in Colorado in Boulder.
Okay.
And kind of showed up in Boulder right at the time that the music scene there was just exploding. Samples, Big Head Todd, String Cheese Incident, Leftover Salmon. All those bands were just really, finding their way forward, and there was a lot of opportunity there. So I was in a band, 2 different bands all the way through college, and played constantly. Actually ended up going over to Europe for a summer to tour around Europe with one of them, and
wow,
thought I was going to be a rock star, and
sure,
actually ended up dropping out of college to pursue my musical interests, and realized pretty quickly I should probably finish college, which I'm glad I did. Re-enrolled. And then, like Eric too, it really kind of fell off for me a little bit after I was just kind of doing other stuff for years. And moving to Truckee about 12 years ago, started playing a lot more seriously, and then meeting these guys, we just kind of clicked. You find the right people that love the same kind of music. And I think honestly doing it a little bit later in life, when you already have a job and kids and kind of other stuff going on, allows you, at least for me, allowed me to really tap back into it in a way that was just pure fun, right? I mean, we just kind of doing it purely for the inspiration and the love of the music and the love of playing with, some guys I really enjoy hanging out with. I feel like there's a lot of synergy there, and it just that's what this is about. From my standpoint, it's just really exploring the music in a really collaborative way, and just having as much fun as we can, and like zero expectation, right? Which I think makes it really fun. So
that's cool. Do you guys play? Did you play mainly up in Truckee? Like, is there like bars or clubs up there that you play?
We used to.
Oh, well, I mean, pre-COVID, I guess that's the question. That would be the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
So
Eric, you want to take that?
Yeah. Well, we had a killer tour of Jackson Hole in the Tetons, which was awesome. We skied and played a bunch of really awesome venues there last spring. And we were the last band to play live there before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And so and we got to ski the last day. The ski resort was open. So we were just having a blast, and had a bunch of other stuff lined up in and around Northern California and in the Lake Tahoe area for the summer when it all got canceled. So yeah, I mean, mostly we were playing in the local area, but Northern California has a bunch of opportunities for us to play as well,
sure.
and cool festivals.
Mhm.
So we're
Yeah.
excited when that.
I love the Bay Area in Northern California. I lived up there for a while. That's awesome. And so well, tell me about this record, Random Rooms. Is that an album all of you guys played on, or is that just you, Eric? Like, tell me about that record.
We played some of those songs on our live set, but mostly that was recorded in rooms across the country on road trips from like professional studios, but also garages. Recorded some stuff out in the woods on a mobile setup, and had all different kinds of players on it from all over the country. So it was a collaborative effort, and a lot of those songs have become fan favorites, and so we continue to play a lot of those. But Jeremy and Matt were not on that, but they were on our most recent recording, and the ones that we're working on now. The last one was the one that we've got a video out recently for, called "Can't Let the Bastards Win."
Yeah, I just watched the video. It was really cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Okay. So that whole record, you said, was recorded in random, like it's the record title, Random Rooms.
Yeah.
But like, so were you like touring back from like Atlanta to Truckee? Like, how did that happen? And like, whereabouts were these rooms? Were they like all in California? Were they like across the country?
So let's see. It was a bunch of it was in my apartment in Atlanta, and then
Okay.
There's a studio in Victor, Idaho, that is a super awesome studio called the Hen House. We had some professional musicians and friends sit in there. Also, some in some houses and barns in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My buddy plays vibraphones in San Ramon, California. I recorded one guitar part in the Chattahoochee National Forest for Into the Wild, which is a song that's kind of like my homage to wilderness, roadless areas. So I needed to record a piece of that outside.
The wilderness, of course.
And there's got to be a few others. I know we recorded some in an Atlanta parking lot at night, and that was kind of the idea, is just, collectively do that and try and get quality sound, and then bring it into a professional mixing situation. And then there were overdubs and stuff to where the sound wasn't perfect, but for the most part, the soul was just being a vagabond throughout the United States.
Sure, that's cool. And then with that, were you able? You just had those songs, so when you eventually got to Truckee and you joined up with Jeremy and Matt, you had the songs already, and you could just teach it to them.
Yeah, but Jeremy is an excellent songwriter, and Matt writes some songs, and so it's exciting. We've got that. Some of those are some, like I said, some fan favorites, and they're party songs, so they're really fun to play. And Matt and Jeremy dig them, and so we're continuing to play them. But it's exciting to work with Matt and Jeremy and our drummer Mike on new rad stuff that's totally different. We've got a bluegrass tune coming out, and then working on a great ski reggae song, and Jeremy's got a number of songs that were in the works with. He's just got some beautiful melody lines on guitar. So some of the songs are from Random Rooms are everybody likes, so we continue to rock them.
Cool. What about Bigfoot? Was that a song you guys are all on, or just the new stuff?
That is just that was a collective of Atlanta folks that was recorded in a studio in Atlanta.
Okay, right on. Well, so the most recent one, Can't Let the Bastards Win, that's the one that you guys are all on together.
Yeah, and we just recorded the several parts of two new songs that we're in the studio next week working on as well.
Very cool. Well, tell me about that one, Can't Let the Bastards Win.
So the song starts off, it is not inevitable, and that kind of lyric came to my head. That's just like, there's so much in society that we're faced with every day, is like you know, you just deal with it. This is the inevitability of where you're being led.
Sure.
And I just I hate that, you know. I want to say no, you know, no, we can do things differently as a society, as a human, as a person, you know. And you know, when I say can't let the bastards win, I mean, in a way it could be political, but it's also everything, like my own head, you know. I can't let the demons in my mind win when they're trying to tell me, oh, this is just how it's going to be, you know.
Sure.
I want to always view light view life in a positive direction, so things don't have to be the way that curmudgeons tell us they're going to be.
Totally. And what Matt, what had you ever recorded on a record prior to that? I know Jeremy, you were talking about touring and stuff, but Matt, had you played or recorded before prior to this?
Yeah, we back in college, I was playing in a band out in Boston, and we gigged all around Boston, New England. And so
cool.
we had recorded a bit back then. We were, pretty much moved to an all original band by the end, and toured a bunch. And actually our lead singer and guitar player, he's still out touring. That's what he does for a living. So that was pretty cool. And, but yeah, no, it's been great. And working with these guys is just perfect. You know, it's one of those things where you get with people and you play music, and sure, you play some cover songs and you're like, all right, this is pretty cool. We all can dig this. But like, once you start digging in on some of that original stuff, and then you realize you're still kind of vibing with each other, you know, you're still in that moment when you're playing. That's great. And that's the things with these guys. I mean, I remember the first time I played with Eric, being like, he's like, okay, let's try this. And we started playing some of his original tunes from random rooms. And I was like, oh, these are great. You know, these are perfect. I love the way they sound. And, you know, and I like that Random Rooms album, but I also dig that how we've been able as a group to sort of take those tunes as well and just put them into our set and really, I don't know, make them a sweet sort of live centerpiece of the project, you know, and of the group. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I'm sure the songs sound a bit different when you guys play them together, or did you guys add anything to them or spice them up a bit when you play them live?
I think naturally, just, you know, Jeremy and Matt's playing. I mean, I still play, you know, have my own soul.
Well, you've been playing them forever, right?
Yeah, but they're different just because of Matt and Jeremy and Mike, the drummer, because they just add their own energy to it, which is so great, you know. And that's what I love about music, is it's not just a person doing it. It's working together in the synergy that happens when it all clicks, and the whole sum is bigger than the parts, you know. And it's been cool to see how some of these songs evolve with new people.
That's cool. And so you guys are in the studio now working on new songs. You said you have a bluegrass song coming out soon. Is that one's complete and ready?
Close. We've got guitar and bass tracks to put on there, and we might get a guest local Truckee musician or two to come do some stuff on there. We've got a friend sing backup, Crystal. She's great, so we might put her on there too.
And the mandolin.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Mando.
Oh,
Mando.
right. You have a mandolin, huh? Yeah. That's tight. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to ask you guys. So, I know you have, you know, jobs, like real jobs. So, how, aside from like everything being shut down, you can't play live. Like, how else did that affect your band? The pandemic, I mean. I didn't even phrase that.
Well, correctly. It's been tough to practice. We have this killer space that we rent to play in. The local School of Music lets us use their rooms every Thursday night, and that's rad. It was killer. I mean, it's the best night,
right,
of the week. You know, playing with my buddies and cracking a cold one and trying out new stuff. But since then, it was like, oh, we can't be in the same tight quarters, really. So we're so lucky to live up here because we have national forests all around. We've had quite a few practices on the banks of this lake.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, we played till 11:30 out there, and it was just so fun. There's no one around, and we're just so we're hoping. But now it's like there's a blizzard right now. We're supposed to get many feet of snow. It's just a little tougher to play outside.
Yeah,
So,
I would think.
but I have a fire pit in our backyard and 3 propane heaters. Matt, Jeremy, and I played last month till 10:30 at night working on songs, and so been trying to get creative with that.
Yep.
That's exciting.
We've kind of got an acoustic vibe too. A lot of our music is kind of written and actually even a lot of it's really performed on, at least acoustic guitars. And so, a lot of it is kind of campfire friendly. So it's pretty easy for us. Matt got this little mini bass amp that's super portable and battery powered. And so he'll plug into that. And, Mike, our drummer, will just bring a little pared down kit. And so we can do the outside jams kind of, unplugged.
That was my next question is how did you get power on when you're doing these outside shows? But I mean, in your video, you guys are playing acoustic guitars. So I've kind of put that together, but I was like, well, maybe they have some electric stuff.
Yeah, we do. When we record, we'll do some electric, and depending on the gig, like it really depends on the venue and the size of the audience. Our last big one that Eric was talking about in Jackson Hole, we played at this killer spot, the Silver Dollar Saloon, real kind of old school. It's a saloon.
Sure, that's cool. Right.
And so we kind of broke up our set there where we did our first set every night we played there was acoustic, and we did more kind of bluegrass, folk, kind of traditional songs, which all of us love and are definitely a big part of our live repertoire. And that's real acoustic feeling, right? That's kind of feeling like you're playing in someone's living room, and it's pretty intimate with the audience. And then, we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll plug in and we'll rock out. And that's more full on, electric guitar, and we kind of start to kick it up a little bit. But I think one of the things I love about this project is just how eclectic we are with the music that we're playing. I think all of us come from a pretty diverse range of musical influences. And it goes anywhere from real folky and kind of traditional and that kind of bluegrass influence. All of us really love that kind of music, to into reggae and towards kind of rock and almost kind of alt country, which all of us love too. And that we really blend that in. And I think one of my goals with this album we're making is to try to make it as eclectic as we can. So every song, kind of touches on those different genres, and we kind of keep it interesting and really keep it really diverse in terms of the musical styles.
Very cool. Very cool. So you guys, so the songs you guys are recording now will eventually be a bigger like release as far as like a record goes.
It will, and the pandemic's been tough to get the recording going too, honestly, a little bit. It just makes it that much tougher. When we recorded Can't Let the Bastards Win, again, it was in a living room and we were all right there and hanging out and right next to each other. It was kind of pre-pandemic. We were able to do most of that recording. And this time it's tougher, I think, especially to get that real kind of live sound and that vibe that we feel like we try to capture. It becomes a lot harder when you got to separate, right? So I think it makes it trickier in terms of the recording too, to really be able to capture that energy the way that we'd like to.
Definitely, yeah. I've heard that, like, people are writing like songs over Zoom and stuff. It's just like you can't really get that energy as whereas if you're just sitting next to somebody and you kind of have that like vibe going. It's hard to vibe with somebody over a computer screen.
Well, and it's more motivating for me to go see Matt and Jeremy and Mike in person,
right,
and high five them instead of like Zoom call. Yeah. I mean,
totally.
It's cool, but not as cool.
Not as cool. Definitely. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I have one more question for you all. I want to see if I can get an answer from each of you. If you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Well, I'll go. Just play as much as you can. Go to every open mic night. Just keep playing. Music and for me is like has been such a godsend in terms of my friendships and my happiness in life, because I meet dudes like Matt and Jeremy who are some of my best friends, and I can name tons of other musicians who are my best friends through music. And so, you know, just keep playing for the fun of it, and maybe something will come out of that. Maybe it won't, but you'll always have music, because it's if you're a musician, it's integral with life.
Sure. I love that.
Yeah, I'd say kind of along those lines, but don't let people tell you you're not good enough or you can't do it. You know, it sort of goes with anything in your life, but I think with music, you know, you're performing and you can be shy. I can be really shy. You ask these guys, I don't like to sing. And it goes back to when my buddy told me I was a terrible singer probably in 6th grade, you know? And so don't, you know, just keep at it, because, you know, as you'll just get better, you know. And Eric is, I think, a great example of that. Like he's saying, go to every open mic night, just put yourself out there, do it, put yourself on the line, you know. No, you don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the best singer to make it in the music business. You know, it's about passion. It's about heart. It's about luck too. But, you know, it's about just touching with your feelings and bring that, and don't worry about what other people have to say.
I love that. What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. I'd say the other thing, especially for me, is just kind of persistence. You know, I was just watching this great movie about Bob Weir called The Other One, and he's got this great quote that really resonated with me in the beginning of the movie, and basically saying, you know, he's not the most talented, and he's not, you know, music didn't come naturally to him, but he's just absolutely persistent with it. And he loved it so much that he basically just was going to keep doing it no matter what. And I feel like for me, you know, I've gone through these periods where music's been such a big part of my life, and almost the biggest part of my life. And then I've also had periods where I basically barely played for almost a decade. You know, I'd play once in a while, but I just kind of felt like it went away, and maybe that was that time of life. And you know, just because it's not happening for you right at the moment where you want it to be, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen later on. So keep playing, and keep looking for the opportunity, even if, you know, even though it can be discouraging, it can be especially now with the pandemic, right? I think it's gotta take this opportunity and practice your chops, and, you know, watch YouTube videos about how to be a better instrumentalist or vocalist, and bide your time, because it's going to come back. And, you know, I think we'll all hopefully be seeing live music and performing live music again as soon as we can.